Now we'll move on to a complete failure. Justin Jefferson, who was a 5.2 two-star. Mike and Gorney, you guys wrote about him this week. I think the buck falls with me technically because I think I took over Louisiana midstream. And he was a guy who came to our camp in Louisiana. He did pretty decent at the camp. He was a guy who tested really slow, though, at other events. And I think I might have seen him at LSU's camp. Sam, do you remember seeing him? You were down in Louisiana at that time. Do you remember following him at the time?
Yeah, I covered the whole family. Justin was doing this Friday night for Destrehan. They have one of the best offenses in all Louisiana. He played with John Emery, who was, someone that I covered as well. And LSU loved Jefferson from the moment he stepped on campus. Obviously, they knew about him because of his two older brothers that played at LSU. That summer, we were both at LSU camp, and it was a famous battle between Justin Jefferson and Amik Robertson. Both wound up with LSU offers. Obviously, Amik went to La Tech. Justin had some great issues, but on the field, despite a 4.8 40 time, he dominated LSU camp. That was guys like Todd Harris and Amik that he was beating. So even though the testing numbers weren't there, he still separated. He still caught everything thrown his direction, contested or not. And on Friday nights, he was averaging 100 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns a week. So he was productive. And from Damian Craig to Mickey Joseph, LSU stayed on him. And he worked his butt off that summer to get eligible. And right around the end of June, early July, he qualified, and LSU took him without hesitating.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that really happened with him is he had one offer from Nicholls State, and I think I assumed he was going to sign FCS or so, and we didn't really think about it again after that. Chad, do you remember him at all?
I remember him not like Sam does, not making plays like that every time. I did see him play one time. I think it was against Edna Carr. I saw him play. I remember Michael Young, I think with Notre Dame, I believe, kind of made the plays that night when I was there. We had him as like the lowest of low 3 stars back in my time covering Louisiana. Did not see him as an LSU type of kid for sure. Definitely not a first rounder that he's grown into. But I remember him vaguely. Didn't see him a lot in person other than that one time at a game. I think he had a couple of catches, no touchdowns that I recall that night. I remember the running back athlete Michael Young kind of stole the show when I was there in the Destrehan offense.
Yeah, I do remember that. Mike, so how bad do you feel about this one? What would when it comes to he gets called in the first round?
No, I feel horrible. It's awful. I mean, 5'2" is the lowest we can go, right? So I saw him in New Orleans, though. You remember that camp was loaded with wide receivers, and he wasn't one of those guys. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Should he have been at 5'3"? Yeah, not any higher than that, though, with the speed issues. So, it's going to look bad, but listen, if he goes on to a great career like Russell Wilson or J.J. Watt, we can talk about him, as one of those 2-star misses.
Those are suspicious times, though. It might have been the not caring running times at 4.8 because he ran 4.43 at the combine. So somebody taught him how to run.
Well, kids do get faster sometimes when they go off to college, but I think, the combination of academics and lack of speed got us. And the fact that he was a late addition, I think we just dropped the ball.